Have you ever had a moment where you hit rock bottom and that was the moment where you said to yourself, that's it, no more. From this moment, I am going to change. Whether it was starting to eat healthy or working out or learning a language, whatever that is, I'm sure that every single person has had this experience in their lives. And this is exactly what happened to Monica when it comes to English. Monica had her dream interview scheduled, and she prepared for 7 weeks for this interview. But she only prepared for it in her head. And the moment she started speaking, she realized all the challenges that she wasn't able to overcome. In this conversation, Monica is going to tell you about the transformation that came right after that moment where she decided, no more. I am going to change. And she's going to talk about all the things that she did to be able to become a person who speaks English, who owns English, and who feels freedom in English. Her story is inspiring. It's about consistency. It's about believing in yourself, and it's about becoming the person you want to become. This conversation is with Monica, my student, and I cannot wait to share it with you. Let's listen. Hi, Monica. How are you doing?
I am doing so great, so excited to see you, so happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for taking the time to come here and share your story and your experience learning, immersing, and falling in love in English. And I can't wait. Your story is so inspiring, and I can't wait for our audience to listen to it.
Thank you for having me and for, giving me the opportunity to be here in your channel. It's been kind of like a dream for me, so now I am here and it's great. Thank you.
It's great for all of us. I'm excited. So for those for clearly most of the people watching this don't know you. The people in our community, they do. But for those who don't know you, would you like to share a little bit about who you are, where you live, what language you speak, and just a little bit to get to know you?
Yes, so my name is Monica. I am originally from Colombia. I was born and raised there. But I've been living here in France for the past 11 years now. So time flies. And yeah, so I speak Spanish. Spanish is my mother tongue. And I speak obviously French as well, as I've been living here for so many time. And I started my English journey here with the different programs, the different HADARS programs 2 years ago. And it was mainly the first mm, time in my life that I started um, studying English for sure. Like
Like
for
really,
true.
like you
Yeah.
you decided to take it seriously and to do the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And especially I found here a good system that helped me um, getting there. Like speaking the way I do today.
Which is incredible. So, talk to me about French first. Okay, of course, we're here to also talk about English, but I think any language learning journey is interesting. So, you moved to a place where French is spoken 11 years ago. And did you know any French back then?
I used to be a French teacher when I was in Colombia, so probably you didn't know that.
No, no,
But
I did. I
I,
did.
listen, when I finished high school, I started the university in Colombia, and I followed the modern language program. And at a time, I needed to choose one language between French, English, or German, and I chose French. I don't know why exactly. I don't remember why exactly, but I chose French.
Something told
And
you that you might need it for the
yes,
future.
probably.
Exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, so I started my French journey at a time, and after finishing my studies, I my first job was French teacher, and I taught English for English French, sorry, for 5 years in Alliance Française in Bogota, in Colombia. And after all those years working there, I decided to step out of my comfort zone, and I decided to see what was possible for me as a professional and also as an individual. And I decided to relocate here in France in order to pursue a master's degree in communications and marketing that I successfully finished in 2016. So
Amazing.
10 years ago
All in
now.
French.
All in French, yes, with
Yes.
French speakers, with French colleagues, and everything. And after that, I've been evolving in the corporate world, mainly in automotive industry. So for 7 years, I worked in automotive industry, and in 2023, everything changed in my mind, and I started to feel less aligned with this final goal to sell cars. So I wanted something bigger. I wanted something meaningful, something that I had a burning desire to make an impact in the world and to make like my voice matter and to work for people or for the planet or for something different. And I started while working at my current job at a time. I started applying for jobs in United Nations, as you know.
Exactly. Wait,
And
and before we move on, I want to talk about that feeling, right? Like because I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling of "Ugh, I need to do something different." Was something triggered? Uh, was it was it triggered by something, or did something happen that you started reflecting on that? Was it the result of COVID? Like, because I remember this time was after COVID, and I don't know. So what was it that made you start feeling anxious or like you want to change?
it was a couple of things. First, I became a mom in 2022, and I guess when we deliver a baby, our brain changed. I don't know why, but it's weird. And also another trigger was that I was working for a big group, an international group called Emile Frey, um, different brands, different things, and the French brand was underperforming for years. So this big group decided to sell the car dealerships when I was working for to another more local group and more smaller group. And I came to realize that the values of this new group wasn't the same as the other one. So the values and the way of work was really different, and it was kind of, yeah, I couldn't find my place. I couldn't find my, yeah, yeah, it was something
In
like
a
that.
line, like you felt like this
Yes.
is not right for me, and then you started asking yourself bigger questions because you were moved around, like having a child, and then
Yes.
shifting in a way companies, not really, but still. And then yeah, and then you started asking those deeper questions, which made you decide to change. I
Yes.
love it. Okay.
Yes. Totally.
So,
So
so
that's
then,
it.
yeah, so you started dreaming bigger and doing bigger things. And what happened
Mhm.
then?
Turning point here for my English journey, because I started applying for United Nations work, and yeah, different applications, different job positions, always aligned with I wanted to do and for the background I had. So communications, marketing. And after a lot of rejections, I finally was invited to complete a written test in English that I successfully completed because I was called for a job interview with a panel, and it was in English. And my relationship with English before that was pretty um, comfortable, because I didn't need English really in my life. I was working and evolving in a French environment. I was speaking Spanish with my family, friends, my daughter. So I didn't need English in my life. But at that moment, and yes, when I was traveling, for example, I was feeling comfortable because I was able to ask for directions or for
You could
order
get
food.
by,
And
right? Like,
yes.
yeah, it's not like you didn't know English. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I have a little background, but I
Yeah.
was feeling like, yeah, I speak English.
Yeah.
So I was invited to this job interview, really important. It was a managerial position that I could completely like take on. And I was preparing. It was a CBI question. It was a CBI interview, so a competency-based interview. I needed to prepare examples of things I was doing I have completed in the past to apply for this job position. So I was preparing things, but I was preparing like writing and a concepts in my mind. I will say that, that, and that, and yes, and I just made a capital mistake, and it was like I never opened my mouth to prepare nothing. So I
Wow.
was, the interview was
Now you would never make that mistake ever,
no,
ever. No, no,
ever in
no,
my life.
no. So you were preparing in your head. In your head, you were like, I'm doing amazing, nailing this job interview, but not with your mouth.
Confident. I was
Oh,
confident. I
love
was
it.
like, I got that.
I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah. Okay. This is a
So I
lesson for all
remember,
of you watching this that if you need to go take a job interview, then make sure you prepare properly and actually use your mouth when you prepare.
and you record yourself and you repeat out loud
Yeah.
and you try to find a way to say words because sometimes you know the word very well. You know the meaning, everything in your head, but when you have to pronounce it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what happened? What happened in
So
the
I
interview?
remember myself opening my computer and like the three people popping up in my computer and the woman leading the interview was like, "Yes, hello, Monica, how are you?" And it was like froze because all these little social codes like, "Hey, thank you for having me," or "It's an honor to meet you," things like that. I hadn't any social code in English, any. So I remember it was like, "Yeah, thank you, hello," really the basic words, let alone the questions of the interview. I was trying to figure out how to put in my mouth the concepts I been preparing for weeks because I was informed about the interview with 7 weeks before the interview, so I had time to prepare. And I remember I had a conversation with you before. I know it was for the other one with United Nations. No, sorry. So it was the first one. And yeah, so I remember I didn't have the codes, nothing. And um, so I couldn't like find the words in my mouth. One people of the panel, I couldn't understand what he was saying. He was a strong accent, and I couldn't even understand what he was saying. So it was pretty hard time, super frustrating. I remember closing my computer, and I remember like I was collapsing on my knees, crying my eyes out, and promising myself I would study English every single day of my life until became fluent. It was so hard, Hadar. It was a moment like I saw and I let this one in a life opportunity, you know, this golden opportunity slip through my fingers. I felt that.
Mm.
So it was the turning point and
I
the
feel it in
day.
my body. I feel it because it's kind of like, yeah, it's we know who we are and what we're capable of doing. And then when English doesn't live up to it, even though you know it in your head, right? It doesn't represent who you are. It doesn't represent your level even of English and definitely your expertise and knowledge and personality, then it's really heartbreaking. And then a lot of times to make a big change, you do need an event like that. A lot of times when people become very, very committed, I often see that something happens when they say to themselves, no, like no more. And this
No
is
way.
that
Yes.
moment. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So after that, I started trying to be in contact with English. So I was like mainly listening to podcasts, different podcasts. So we met together through your
Yeah.
podcast because
That was
I
our
was
first
listening.
date. Yeah.
I was listening to the Lex English podcast, and he interviewed you one day, and I was listening to your voice and listening to your path, to your always all the things you were going through in New York as an actress, etc. It was like, oh my god, that's amazing! I can understand everything what she's saying, And I fell in love with your voice, you know, with the way you speak, it's so clear. And I was thinking like I would like to speak with her one day, like the same. And I started following you. I cut all the other podcasts I was listening to. I cut all the YouTube channels and I keep one thing: your podcast, your social media, your everything. And so it was summer 2023, and at the very beginning of 2024, you opened doors to join Beyond through a Start Strong challenge. So I did the 7 days and then I joined. But um, up until that moment, I was being so passive, you know, like even though I promised myself to study English, I couldn't, you know, I hadn't a system or someone saying me, do that, that, and that, you know, like nothing. So I was being very passive. And when I was listening to the podcast and watching TV, etc., I felt like I was doing a lot.
So, why do you think that is, though? Why do you think we humans do that? Like, like we do something and then we stay passive. Like, we don't really push ourselves to do things. And then we settle for something like just listening, which is good, but clearly not enough. So what was kind of like holding you back from doing the next thing? Was it lack of knowledge, like you didn't know what your next steps were, or was it fear? What was it? Laziness?
I guess, yeah, a mix of everything. A mix of everything. Ignorance, I guess, is the first one. Didn't know what to do and how. And also, life runs so fast, you know. We are always so busy. We are always thinking about what's next. And somehow we have some habits in our day life that are established, already established, and we usually don't make room for new things that are really important for us. And I learned that through meditation. That is another skill I learned here in your community. I start meditate. I start being part of the 5 a.m. club, going to the gym every single day at 5 a.m. and doing things like that because I understood shape habits shape, sorry, my life, and the person I embody and the person I would like to embody every single day. You know, not speaking about my goal, but the person I am every single day at 5 a.m. and the person who goes to sleep the same day, who I wanna be each day, you know. And I learned that here. Um, so yes, in terms of English, I started to make room in my daily life to learn English, to make a little step, the 1%, the 1% rule that you explained very well. And I am applying this 1% rule for English and for so many things,
Yeah.
so many.
The 1% rule, for people who don't know, this is not my rule. I learned it. It's this concept that what can you do every day to improve by 1%? So when you think about it, 1% is not a lot. And you can think of, okay, I can just, just like practice it one more time, or learn something new, or do it a little faster, or do it a little slower, or like something very, very small that helps you improve what it is that you're working on. In our case, English, or building habits, or anything that is related to personal development. And even though it doesn't feel like a lot, over time it becomes exponential growth, right? Because 1% and then 1% more the next day and the next day. So the idea is like not to think of huge big changes, which is something that we tend to resist and procrastinate, but do something very small every single day, and then you see the impact and the results over time. And based on what you're sharing, you go to the gym consistently, you wake up at 5 a.m., you meditate. And if you want, you can talk about that a little bit more. You practice English consistently. So, all of these things are the result of building those strong habits and wanting to improve little by little without, like not thinking like you need to become a different person overnight. So that's beautiful. That's incredible. How are you different today than who you were 2 years ago?
That's so beautiful. It's a beautiful question because I feel I'm really different. I'm really different. I embody the person who speaks English. I embody the person who is consistent with a lot of things, and where I, yeah, whenever I would like to do something, I try to keep going, but I couldn't be this way alone, because sometimes we are like, okay, I will do that. But uh, when you have people who celebrate things with you, that happens just for you, and you feel that is sincere, it's so rewarding, and you feel so well. I met here in your community so many people who are always cheering me up, whatever it takes. Like, I learn a word. Wow, you're amazing. You can do it. You can learn two words now. And it's like, okay, I'm feeling this energy every single day. So I feel like I am different
Addictive,
because,
right? Like you want to learn just to get that
yeah,
energy from the
yeah,
community. Yes.
it is. And the opposite is true as well. When someone has a big goal or a little goal, I feel this happiness, and I because I embody this person who is making efforts and who is seeing results little by little. So yes, I couldn't be here today if I was alone, let's say.
I agree. Like it's not impossible to master a language and to be expressive in a language on your own. It's not impossible, but I think it's just, I mean, why? If you can do it with in community, right? Like with guidance. Language is meant to be spoken with other people, not on your own. And there is a give and take. It's reciprocal. So this is why you have to have people around you to connect, to practice, to make English the tool and not just the goal, right? And I think when that happens, something opens up. Talk to me about when I asked you, who are you? You said, I'm a person who speaks English. What is it about how you speak English? Maybe if you can describe it physically, if you can describe it emotionally. Like, what is it about how you speak now, practically, than how you spoke before? What does it mean to speak English? A person who speaks English.
Yeah, I will start to speak about New Sound right
Okay.
now. Because, and I would like to start by another angle, but not right now, I feel it's a good moment. And when when we start the New Sound program, there is one module about mindset, and in the mindset module, we are invited by you to set goals. So the 90 days goal, the 1 year goal, and the 5 year goal. So I set my goals when I was taking revising my notes to prepare this interview. I've came to realize that my my 90 days goal was to master diphthongs or something like that, and my 1 year goal was to be here sharing my story about New Sound and my transformation in New Sound.
No way.
Yes. But I forgot about that, and when I was reading, I was like, oh my
I'm
God,
like,
I
I'm
am
getting
achieving.
emotional right
Yeah, I know, me too.
now.
Yes. And my 5 year goal was to speak in public, to deliver as I was obsessed, with working in the United Nations. I set the goal to speak in public, to deliver a really important thing, in front of a lot of important people or something like that. And I was imagining myself speaking in a TED talk or in something related with United Nations. And when I say I speak in English, I'm thinking about that, and I am thinking about sharing things, like always sharing, caring, convey things, making my voice matter for the people. I'm thinking about that when I think I speak English. And I don't know why it's not the same for French or Spanish. It's English, and it's probably because it's a universal language where you can touch much more people, and that much people speak. And yeah, I guess it's the reason why. So yes, it's I think about that when I think I embody the person who speaks in English.
Wow. And I see that, I completely see that in the community. How generous you are, like what you bring to the community, what you share, how you show up. I think you are embodying not just who you are as an English speaker, but really your purpose in the world, which is, I feel like my purpose is to serve, right? Like one of my core values is to serve. And I feel like you share the same value because from the moment you said, I feel like I had a bigger purpose than working for this company. And language is the key, is the tool to do that. And I think English is because for exactly for the reasons that you said, you really reach more people that way. You have more impact. And I hope that someone listening to this is listening to these words and they understand that they have that ability to and the power to make impact or to have impact with words only, right? Like, and with just like being able to say what you think or to share what you know, even if it's just to listen and to hold space and to celebrate others. I mean, like think of how in our community, people, the way we celebrate each other and the way we hold space for each other. I think this is what makes it so powerful and how we feel meaningful as individuals inside this community. So
Yes, totally.
yeah, I love
Totally.
that. So in terms of your English journey, just to kind of like understand the timeline or explain the timeline, you joined Beyond in 2024. You still need to talk about the change in your habits and your practice methods. And then you joined New Sound. When was it? At the end of 2024?
No, it was in spring 2024. So it was like
Right
three
after.
or three, yeah, right after. And I decided to join New Sound because being in Beyond was like, okay, I have my fellow Beyonders speaking about things like diphthongs, like clusters. And I was like, okay, what is this? And I had, for example, I remember the coach giving me feedback on my speaking, and it was like, okay, you have to work in the diphthong O, and I was like, okay, diphthong O, but what is a diphthong? So so I hadn't these concepts really clear in my mind, and everything seems to everyone seems to get everything really clear, and also most of the people being in Beyond had already taken the New Sound course, so they always were like, yeah, this is a transformative experience, you have to take it, yeah, you have to do it. So I decided to do so.
So just to clarify, Beyond is our English practice community, right? Where we practice and speak and connect, and there are English classes, but we don't not always, like we talk about pronunciation, but New Sound is the kind of like the transformative pronunciation program where we dive deep into every single sound. And that is where you feel like you have made a significant change in how you think and how you speak because of the mindset module, but also because of sounds. So when I was reading the things that you wrote before the interview, you said what was most insightful for me was learning about sounds that I didn't have in my first language, right? So talk to me about that and why do you think it's important?
I love that because in English we have, for example, in Spanish, which is my mother tongue, we have five vowels, and in English we have also five vowels that we write, and in
Vowel
French as
letters,
well. But
right?
we have 16 vowels that we can pronounce with the same like
Letters.
vowel, the same letter. Yes, and in French it's the same. In French we have also 16.
Yeah.
So um, I learned things here in the sound that serve serves me today as a French teacher, to apply and to understand better in the French language as well. So in New Sound, what I was expecting to find when I joined the course was like that, like the understand the granularity of the sounds of the English sounds, but also how to produce the sound like physically, because I had been studying English for so many years. No one never had explained to me how to articulate sounds, how to put my tongue, my lips, my jaw, everything. Never. So here I learned the sound, like the nature of the sound, how to articulate the sound, and then, and most importantly, how to put all this sound together. Because there is another module I loved, and it was the prosody
The prosody
module.
module.
Yes, so game changer. The prosody module was like mindset and prosody were my favorites.
Oh, I love
And
it.
in prosody module, you learn rhythm, pitch, and through a lot of exercise of repetition. And if you take the new song course, you have to be willing and able to repeat a lot, and to
I
be
know, right?
alone,
You don't
like
learn and that's
repeating,
it.
repeating. I discovered sounds, for example, the z sound that
Mm-hmm.
I was mispronouncing in French for I don't know how much time.
Ooh, interesting.
I was unable to produce this sound, Heather, this sound
Uh-huh.
voiced,
Yeah.
because it doesn't exist in Spanish, and I wasn't even able to hear this sound.
Exactly, right? I think that's the problem because you could make it. It's like a sound, right? It's not that you couldn't, it's just that it's not used. So therefore, the brain is like, I don't need this.
Mm,
I don't need to pay attention to it, and this is why we misplace, replace, or devoice sounds.
mm.
So you learned it in English, and then you realized that you need it for French as well. Ah, I
Yes,
love it. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that, and also, for example, the R sound, the I was mispronouncing R sound in English for all my life, and
Mm.
I did thousands thousands of exercises.
Great as well. Thousand.
thousands 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 of exercises to to get to get there, to
Yeah.
get to the sound was so difficult for me.
I love it that you say be prepared to repeat because I think that is the one element that most programs kind of like overlook, not just pronunciation, but also all English programs. You know, I study Spanish now, and now, like, when I learn something and my teacher teaches me something, and then she moves on to the next thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, I have to say it out loud. Otherwise, I will not remember it. And if I don't do it with her, I have to do it after. And I realize it is so easy to forget. But if I say it really, like I need to say it at least 10 times for the brain to be like, okay, got it. For the mouth and the brain and the eyes to connect. Like we're not robots. We can't receive new information and use it immediately, right? Those repetitions are crucial, which is something that I definitely teach you in New Sound and also in Beyond in the classes, right? But I think it's something that is so incredibly important and often, people don't understand the importance of it when teaching or when learning. Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm glad that you
Yes, but it's normal because we have the habit to have a kind of education that is completely in this, like the teacher is teaching and I'm listening, okay, I'm noting, and that's all.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you have a class with 20, 30, 40 students, you can't have them repeat or have conversations and it's not practical for the system, right? And they have to pass exams, and to pass exams there needs to be perfection, yes or no, black and white. But in reality, in English, you can say things in so many different ways, but they don't teach you that because it doesn't align with the system and the grading system and what's easy for, like to hold a class, especially when you learn English as a second language, as in high school or in school. So like this has infiltrated our brains, and this is the it's kind of like the framework of how languages needs to be taught. But when you think of how babies acquire a new language, it's just repetition, right? Like repetition, repetition of sounds, of words, saying something incorrectly, incorrectly, incorrectly until it gets corrected because the brain understands it. So, how come we're not learning the way we learn our first language? Other languages as well. So I think this is what's so important to remember. Why do you think pronunciation is important, not just for clarity, but for fluency as well?
I start with an example
Okay,
again.
give me an example.
I stopped to when I was learning, learning at the because I am still learning, but at the very beginning, I was always hoping that the person I was speaking with like got what I want to say. Get
Okay, just
I
get it.
was
Yeah.
hoping, like praying. I hope he will understand or she will understand what I want to say. because I was pronouncing like, like, yeah, I guess it's this way. So now I feel one of the main shifts was, yeah, clarity, but also this, okay, what I am doing, what I'm saying, I am pronouncing the good way. I'm sure. I'm pronouncing out loud.
You are in
So that
ownership. You are in control of what comes out of your mouth. Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So that's the main thing.
yeah. And that has that increased your confidence as well?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because it all interacts, right? Like if you feel more confident, you're going to be more fluent because your brain is not busy thinking about all the things that are not working well. And I also did you feel it happens with some students that you feel less tension in your mouth when you pronounce things in an
Yes.
optimal way versus how it used to be? I'm not sure how it was for you, but
Yes, it was something that changed also in my mouth, because in the new song program and also in Beyond, we have a lot of tongue exercises. And for example, when I was working for my sound, I had so many pains in my tongue afterwards, and I was feeling good because I was working. Like when you go to the gym, you lift weights, and at the end you have pains,
so
and you are,
sore.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was the same. And now I feel when, for example, right now I am speaking, I don't have pains. But in the past, with the repetition work, I indeed had so many pains in my tongue. But with the exercise, with the daily exercises, um, your tongue is getting muscle. So so yes, I
It's a
feel it.
muscle.
It was part of the
Just
work.
exactly, just like you work out any other muscle, you got to work out your tongue. And at the beginning, it could be tense, but then it becomes effortless because like it's a lot more in shape in a way. Yeah. So tell me about your teaching, because you teach French, right?
Yes.
Tell
Okay.
me what you love about it first.
Okay, so I will continue my storyline. So in 2023 I quit the automotive industry. I started improving my English. I had time. I joined your program. I started meeting fantastic people, etc. So I continue applied for so many United Nations jobs. I had another interview at the beginning of 2025, and this was the time we had a conversation when you told me, "Yeah, you got this. You can do it. You have the level, etc." So I did the job interview, and still today I don't have an answer if it's negative or positive, and it's United Nations. That can happen. But yes, so I continue in this path, but I have come to realize that it was really hard, and I need to pay bills at some point because I was living from my economies. And I started in the middle of 2025. I had a conversation with an old French in Colombia who worked with me in Alliance Française at a time, and she told me like, yeah, you have to be independent. You have to. She started to putting me pushing me forward to being independent and to become independent in some way. She wasn't really specific about French teaching, but something. And I was like, yeah, why not? Why not? Why to be all my life an employee? I can do something. And then it was my cousin, who is much more like my brother. He came from Colombia to do something here, and he asked me, what do you want to do? What are you good at? And he was like, okay, I'm good at French. I have a thorough knowledge of the French language. I am very good at communications and marketing. I love what I do. And recently I fell in love with phonetics and the all this international phonetics alphabet and all this new knowledge I was acquiring in English and also in French. So we made a cocktail of these three things, and I decided to restart teaching French. And since then, I've been so I had been teaching French for a couple of months, like 6 or 7 months, with my friend from Colombia who has a company. Um, she gave me some students in Canada, especially in Canada, and I started to I started feeling again myself because I am helping people pass exams. I am I am being part of the success of these people having new stories to tell with the language because they are speaking in French right now. So I'm so happy to see them success in their life. So yes, I feel I found something that gives me professional fulfillment and personal fulfillment right now.
That is so beautiful. First of all, because it's interesting to see that journey that you went through as you just explained it. And you're such a good storyteller, by the way, Monica, I have to tell you. But but really and it's good as a teacher to be able to explain things through stories. But I think that your personal growth and professional development journey, it's just so inspiring how you kept pushing yourself and doing more than you thought was possible, and kind of like you made the container bigger and bigger and bigger until this is where you are today. And I think, finding the passion for languages and for French and for sounds and for community and for service, right? Which is what you do with your students. I think this is definitely a beautiful essence, like such a beautiful place to be in, and so inspiring.
And
Um,
I am also doing some videos explaining sounds in French. And I started in French because I was inspired by your Instagram. And I started only in French. But one day I put a video in English explaining sounds in French. And it was like I had a lot of thousands of views. And it was like, okay, I will try that. And
Amazing.
it's been 2 weeks.
So now it's both English and French and
Yes.
pronunciation. Oh, this is so beautiful. We're going to link to your accounts, social
Thank
media
you so
accounts below.
much. Yes.
No, because I'm
And
sure there
the
are a lot of
name is
people watching. Yeah, where can they find you?
French Sounds Beautiful.
French sounds beautiful.
Yes.
That is so beautiful. I'm gonna definitely. I need to finish Spanish first, and then I'll move on to French. So,
Okay.
um, Monica, before we wrap up, first of all, thank you so much for the time and the energy, and like being open and vulnerable. Um, what would you say to someone who is right now where you have been, right? Like where you have been, or where you were in 2023, and they don't know what to do, and they feel this frustration of things not working for them in English. What would you tell them?
Wow. It's kind of super responsibility you're giving to me right now. I would say start. Start. So at some point, even if it's, sometimes we're postponing things to Monday, to next month, to next year. Start today, like even if it's Friday at 10 p.m., start doing something really little for your English. And um, I would like to say as well that the New Song program is the place to be if you want to understand the granularity of the English sounds and put them into the matrix of the English speaking with prosody, pitch, rhythm, and also your intention, your emotion, how to express yourself. And all of that is made to help you understand the process and to help you become and discover the best English speaker that you can be.
Ah,
So I would say something like
I love it. That's perfect. That's perfect. Monica, what is
that.
something that you are excited about these days? Apart from French and English, what is something different that you are excited about?
I am excited about becoming someone who is independent, who doesn't work 9 to 5. I'm so excited about that. It's something I am discovering, I am loving, and I am having so many time to do the things I would like to do and to work on things I would like to work on. I have time for my daughter, I have time for me. Uh, that's exciting, really exciting at a moment. I am exciting. I'm really excited about the possibility to meet you and my fellow Beyonders in a meetup, hopefully.
Will happen. Will happen.
And yeah, I met Hadar so many invaluable people here, that people that I love, you included. Like it's like um it's a feeling. It's not like I'm working on my English. I am feeling English with all my heart, my body. Is that so? I am excited about that these days, and yeah, you're part of this excitement.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited that you are a part of our community and for sharing this conversation with our audience and with more people in the world. Monica, you are a powerhouse. You are so incredible. I'm so grateful that I came across your way, your path, that you were listening to Luke's podcast that
Yes.
day, that I was able to do that podcast. I remember that people were renovating next door, like, and I couldn't even talk to him, and we almost canceled it. So thank God we didn't, because that has led you to me and me to you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And for anyone watching, if you want to find out more about the programs that Monica talked about, so we have Beyond Our English practice community, where you are in community and you practice a lot of speaking practice and English classes, conversation groups, daily sprints. So it's more about building habits and consistency. And then there is New Sound, which is really like like a complete program. It's a complete method around mastering all the sounds and the prosody and the mindset of speaking English. So it's all about pronunciation and communication skills. So we're going to put all the links below, and we're going to put the link to Monica's channels
Thank
and
you.
social media accounts, so we can follow her and study some French pronunciation as well. Thank you so, so much, my love. I appreciate you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Hadar. It was a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Monica, for sharing your story with us. I invite you today to do one thing to get started with a thing that you want to achieve, whether it's meditation, working out, eating differently, making more friends, or improving your English, becoming a speaker of English. Whatever it is, I believe in you. We believe in you. And the most important thing is to start today. So, this is an invitation and a reminder for you to start today. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the day. And I will see you next week in the next video. Bye.